Hello, hello, hello. Back with another Path of Exile 2 video. This is going to be Monk build for 0.4. 0.4 is not far away. Everyone is excited, okay, especially to play the Druid. I've seen a few snippets of it. It looks really, really good. But, as we all know, as I said in the other video, I'm a bit of a Monk fanboy, so I will be league starting Monk and going Invoker, especially down to the buffs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you my 0.3 endgame build, the one that I didn't actually release. I'm going to mix this between this one and my Monk build that was in I think it was Monk build 4 when I used Mantra of Destruction, Hand of Chayula and stuff like that. And I'm going to kind of mix it and play around and combine the two passive trees to kind of make something very, very good. Also, with the changes to the meta skills and the fact that it's 50% Spirit Reservation, and I'm pretty sure it is 45, or if you times it by 1.5, it ends up being, I think it ends up being around about 60, which is still 30 spirit less than what it is normally. We're going to start to run a lot more skills. So currently, I'm probably going to run Blasphemy with some few curses, maybe Elemental Weakness, and maybe Despair, or Enfeeble, or Temporal Chains. Okay, maybe Temporal Chains, slow everyone around for you, means you're less likely to get slapped. So yeah, right, let's go through the skills. As I said, this is kind of like an unreleased Monk build. So we've got Tempest Flurry with Rapid Attacks 2, Rage 3, Elemental Armament 2, Efficiency 2, and Tool Stillness. Flicker Strike, we've got with Concentrated Area, Inevitable Critical, Overextend, Elemental Armament, and Diala's Desire. I'm probably going to change Elemental Armament and maybe put Close Combat on, or Hit and Run. Remember, this is really, really end game build. I'm going to go over Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4 in a couple of minutes. Charge Staff, we've got Recalling Strike, Ice Bite, Innovate, Withering Touch, and Escher's Radiance. Falling Thunder is back. Okay, I did like it, especially seeing as though they're removing the 40% less damage. So if you kind of look at if you remove that, my Falling Thunder sits at nearly 300k, and that's way out of power charge. We've got Elemental Armament, Culmination, Ricochet, so it's to go everywhere, and Nova Projectiles. Remember, Falling Thunder works best when you have a power charge. Hand of Chayula, so this is purely to get power charges. I did have Sacrifice on. You probably can run Sacrifice if you want to remove Infernal Cry. You will have enough spirit, especially with the changes. Now, if you think about it, I've got 56 spirit left, and that's going to go down to that now is going to give me another 30 back. So I'm going to be sat at around about nearly 100 spirit back probably. So yeah, this is how you're going to get your power charges. And basically you're just going to build up your combo, hit an enemy, and it'll get your power charges. Remember, there's a big change to Culmination. There's a big change to how combo works. Combo's not as high as it should be, or it used to be, but now it gives you more chance to gain charges. So it's, instead of being 10% charge for Airless Charms, it's now a 25% chance. So you got 1/4 of a chance. So we're going to use Sniper's Mark to mark the target, which means the next critical hit will have an increased critical damage bonus. Culmination 2, Charge Perfusion 2, Temporal Chains, and then Airless Chimes. I'm probably going to remove Temporal Chains, to be fair, and probably put Despair on, which means it lowers their Chaos Resistance, and then we'll probably run Temporal Chains with Blasphemy in there, with some Curse Magnitude. Mantra of Destruction, so we've got with Prolonged Duration, Delayed Gratification, Profanity, and Chaos Mastery. Not too sure what to put in the last slot, but the reason why we run Delayed Gratification is we're allowed to use it again after 10 seconds. So you can use Mantra of Destruction basically twice before it goes into cooldown. Infernal Cry, ideally don't need it. Okay, you can put this, you can maybe put Ghost Dance like I had in 0.3 in that Monk build 4, I think it was. It's entirely up to you. You can put Mana Remnants as well, since the Walk of the Wilds is missing. Infernal Cry is genuinely just for end game bossing. So go in, pop Infernal Cry twice, Flicker Strike, and you're doing 50, 60 million damage. Okay, they wore a clip of me doing with 3 mans and I wiped him out in a couple of seconds. So we've got it with Rage Forge, Second Wind 3, Raging Cry, and Cooldown Recovery 2. Herald of Thunder, so this is the Armor Explosion. A lot of people like to run Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, causes big shatters. I've kind of figured out you don't need Herald of Ice, okay, so you can kind of cause the shatters like this. So we've got Armor Break, Armor Explosion, Uruk's Smelting, Ulnatil's Embrace, and Piety's Mercy. Okay, remember it can't be killed by hits, so what it does, it causes a big explosion. You can put in Flicker Strike the one where it consumes armor to deal 40% more damage. That works very well as well. Wind Dancer, even though it's getting nerfed, it's still going to be strong. Okay, so we're going to have it with Soul Drain, which can recover some of your mana. Blind, Culling Strike, Magnified Area, and Ambush. Charge regulation, this is changing, so instead of giving you 15% more skill speed, it gives you 25% skill speed. So it is a change for frenzy charge, but basically this is how it puts my flicker strike at 100% crit chance. Gives you more defenses when you have endurance charge, so you get 3 endurance charges. Okay, you've got 60% more defenses, and then 15% more skill speed as well when you have a frenzy charge. But remember, this is changing. And then we've got it with clarity again for more mana regen. And then cast on crit, we've got this with profane ritual, overabundance. Ideally I should have overabundance 2 on, because I think that gives you 60%. Rapid casting 2, boundless energy 2, charge profusion 2. Basically, you run around the map, hit, flicker, stormwave, etc. This will build up energy for cast on crit. Cast on crit will basically cast profane ritual. Profane ritual then consume a corpse on your dead enemies nearby, and then give you a power charge, allowing you to flicker. And this cycle repeats itself and repeats itself. So my gear hasn't really changed compared to my old build. The only thing that has changed is my quarterstaff. Going back to 0.1, I used to run a critical hit chance and a critical damage bonus quarterstaff, and yeah, it's back. Okay, get yourself a quarterstaff with elemental damage to attacks, critical hit chance, critical damage bonus, attack skills. If you can get 2 flat damages, or 1 flat damage and maybe an extra physical. But that's how my flicker sits at like 700,000. Pair with a few jewels as well. You'll need 2 unset rings unless you want to drop Infernal Cry and not take anything else, which means you can take a breach ring. But my unset rings, I always go for one side of them to have flat damage and then resist, and then the other side to have flat damage, rarity, and leech as well. Early end game, like straight away, these will be probably relatively cheap. I think I got this for around about 20 divine. It's now over 400 divine towards the end of the league. Obviously things change. Amulet, we want to anoint subterfuge mask because we are wearing a energy shield helmet, and again you want this with like melee skills, crit hit chance, crit damage bonus, energy shield, evasion, etc. You can get +1 to power charges for your helmet. The more energy shield the better, which means that you can get more evasion used down to subterfuge mask. I wanted this with like rarity, resistances, and then you've got the spirit reservation again, which allows you to run more skills on less spirit. It's very, very good. Body armor, I just genuinely used it for triple resist and high evasion and high energy shield because we were running Lead Me Through Grace. Gloves, ideally you want flat attack, critical damage bonus, maybe melee skills. The 100% increased socket effect is no longer good. It's now 60%, which is a massive drop. So realistically, you could probably look at maybe seeing if you can get some attack speed or boosting up your energy shield and evasion. 60% is still going to be effective, but obviously it's not going to be as good as 100%. And also they've removed the fact that you can't use 2 of each. So you'll have to use one of these and then something else. I recommend, seeing as though we've got like a mix of elemental and chaos, I recommend maybe getting the Talisman of Sirius and then getting some chaos damage in here. Headhunter belt, this is genuinely here for stats, realistically. I do prefer the satchel, which allows me to use Olus Resolve, but you remove that and I end up not having stats to run anything. Hopefully they've sorted out the stats when in update 0.4, but we don't know. Again, with boots, they've changed the maximum movement speed, but boots basically you want energy shield or evasion or both. Resistances, remember they've changed the socket effect, so therefore it's no longer as good as it used to be, unfortunately. But aim for your resistances as much as possible. I just went for the Melting Maelstrom. You can get different mana flasks, especially if you want to run Ambrosia. You need one with quite a lot of charges. Olus Resolve, it's got a buff. Basically what happens is you get life recovery as guard for 10 seconds. This is now 20 seconds. It's very, very good, and it increases your EHP, which is your hit points. And yeah, this makes you survive a lot longer. If you manage to drop a Rite of Passage, okay, either sell it and then fund the rest of your build, or keep it, but I use the Spirit of the Stag. Spirit of the Stag is absolutely insane. You get elemental resistances, skill speed, movement speed, extra damage as lightning. Yeah, it's nuts. So, passive tree. I've already updated it, but we're going to take Lead Me Through Grace and the Thunder, because I'm running Tempest Flurry. If you want to run Ice Strike, you can take Eye on the Blizzard. Soul Springs Eternal, remember this is now changing to meta skills, gain 50% of spirit efficiency, and then we've got Sunder My Enemies, which means it ignores elemental resistances. So what you want to do is you want to come up here first, take Mindful Awareness, Flow Like Water, and Step Like the Mist. Then we want to take Crashing Wave for damage if we've dealt a critical hit. Up around and get Power Within for more critical damage bonus with Power Charge. Critical Exploit for critical hit chance. Melding for more energy shield. Insightfulness for more energy shield and mana regen intelligence. Dampening shield again for more energy shield and ailment and stun threshold. Pure energy again for more energy shield. Then we'll take concussive attack for more attack damage and chance to daze. Immaterial for evasion rating if your energy shield has started to recharge. And then again, more evasion rating if you have energy shield. Killer instinct for attacks well on full life or low life. We get 40% attacks with taking chaos inoculation. Dual socket, which basically is just give me elemental ailment threshold, damage, and crit damage bonus. If you're struggling and you find yourself getting stunned or frozen, take a duel with elemental ailment threshold or stun threshold. Then we've got true strike for crit hit chance, follow jugular for crit damage bonus, and then deadly force for more damage if we've dealt a crit. Spectral ward, this gives you energy shield per 12 item evasion on the body armor. Okay, as you can see in my body armor, I have 1,494, so it gives me a lot of energy shield. Overflowing power for more charges. Remember, flicker works on power charges. The more charges you have, the more you flick. Up here to chaos inoculation, and then round here for heart of the well. So this gains 15% extra fire damage. I get critical damage bonus, recover mana on kill, and again damage extra chaos damage. This causes the armor explosion. I forgot, I also went round here to get Prism of Belief, which is +3 to all flicker strike skills. Then we come down, we take Throat Seeker for more critical damage bonus. Take Martial Artistry for more critical damage bonus and more accuracy. One with a Storm to consume a power, which counts as an extra one. Down here, a dual socket, again with more critical damage bonus, elemental damage, and critical hit chance. Walk of the Wilds has been removed, so we don't need it. So Meleech will be based off of elemental types instead of physical. They've removed it, they've now put it on a lineage support. So realistically, you can take Siphon if you want to, which cover 2% mana on kill. Pair that with a jewel that gives you mana on kill, and you should be fine. Then we've got the Fabled Stag, which gives you more charge duration. In Monk build 4, I had all these here. I am possibly going to take them again. Like I say, it's going to be a mix of this one and another one, because the damage, increased damage, and then per combo is great, but I feel like this is going to be nerfed. These are probably going to be nerfed. Obviously, the AoE nodes are going there, which could be a big change as well. So, like I said, this is just a potential, okay? If keep looking at my mobalytics, because I will update that as regular as possible. So then we've taken Heart Stopping, Struck Through, and Heartbreaking. This is all for crit hit chance and critical damage bonus. Coming Calamity for increased cold, fire, and lightning damage were affected by each one. I am planning on taking Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ash, like I did in one of my monk builds, and trying that, which means I'll get an extra 40%. I'm also planning on taking Elemental Conflux or even Trinity again, because of these changes to meta. I'm gonna see if what I can build. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled. And then finally we've got a jewel down here, which gives me more critical damage bonus, more lightning damage, critical hit chance, and more damage with Quarterstaffs. Again, this is like proper endgame build. These ways I can make this 10 times better. I'm not really going to go over the Weapon 2 passives, because I kind of got rid of Weapon 2. I used to have the Scepter to summon the minions, but I'm just going to get all my power charges from just using Hand of Shiola. You can use Shattering Palm, just put the same things into it, okay? So just make sure you put Culmination in, then Charge Perfusion, then Airless Chimes, okay? And then that's how you'll get your power charges. You can, like I say, you can use Shattering Palm, you can use Staggering Palm, you can use Killing Palm. They'll all work. I'm not going to run Hollow Palm, so please don't ask me to run Hollow Palm. It's been nerfed. It'll be good for the campaign, but endgame, nah. If you want to look at Hollow Palm, go check out Farham. He's basically put a full guide from Act 1 to Act 4, or early maps. Yeah, so he's probably the person to check. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly go to Path of Building, and we're going to look at my old passive tree. Okay, so as you can see here, this is my old passive tree, which was in like my Monk build 4. Again, it's all down here. So these, if they remain the same, as in like this give you the same bonuses and stuff like that, and the same amount of damage, obviously you'll lose a bit of damage because your combo won't go as high, but this will be very, very, very good. The effective hit pool is 53,000, so call it 54,000, which is very high for a monk. My energy shield is 9,464. Pair that with when I get endurance charges, and I sit around about 12,000 energy shield. We've got Flicker Strike at around about 30 million. It is very, very good. Okay, we've got Deflection as well, because we've got a Deflection down here. This build, in my opinion, was my favourite build. It just worked. The Mantra of Destruction was great. The Hand of Chiola hit like a truck. Tempest Flurry was just rapid. Like I said, it worked very, very well. And I'm going to use a mix of this and the one that's in there. So, I've ranted on for quite a long time now. I'm going to be live tonight at 8 PM GMT, and I'm going to be live tomorrow from 6 PM GMT, streaming my progress through. So jump on in if you've got any problems. If you need any help or support or anything like that, leave a comment below, jump in my Discord. Yeah, see you tonight, stay safe, and peace.